Hey everybody, today I'm going to go through a video uploaded by Frank Huguenard recently. It's part of a series called Let's Be Frank, and this is episode 2, which is all about the triple threat. First off, I'm going to give a bit of an overview as to the kind of character that Frank is. I first read the content on Frank's website in 2005, and like most people happen across the content, I dug deep for more, but I was never fully satisfied that I understood exactly what he was trying to get across. Yet I found some of the things that he wrote stuck with me over many years, and the longer that time went on, the more true those things seemed to be. Some say that his writings are vague, that there's no proof that anything he's talking about actually works, that he's overly defensive to the point of being unpleasant, and they're not wrong about that. Frank says that his approach changes how the game is played, that nobody understands what dribbling can do for the sport, and that Ultimate in its current form is not great to watch. And I don't think he's wrong about those things either. So it can be a bit of a tricky situation. Although Frank says some very interesting things that I agree with, he says some stuff technically about Frisbee that I disagree with, but he also then kind of talks in a way and says things outside of Frisbee that I don't agree with either. But the Frisbee stuff is very interesting, and it's different to what most other people teach. So at the very least, it offers a good perspective, and at most, it will actually change the game.
Hi everyone, my name's Frank, and I wanted to make a video about the triple threat principle and how it dramatically and forever changes the game of Ultimate Frisbee.
I like it straight in there with the grandiose statement of dramatically and forever changes the game of Ultimate Frisbee.
The triple threat principle has been around about 100 years in basketball. Anytime you catch the basketball and before you put it on the floor, you're in the triple threat principle. And this means that you have three threats. You can shoot, you can pass to a teammate, or you can dribble, drive, penetrate. In other words, if you had two identical twins who had the same exact skill sets, training, physiques, everything, and one understood the triple threat and the other one didn't, the only difference would be a philosophical advantage that one would have over the other.
Do they need to fully understand it, or could a good coach just train a player physically to be able to react to the defense and either shoot, pass, or dribble?
Is that if I'm dribbling, if I got the ball and you're marking me or defending me, you have to play against each one of those three threats. As soon as I pick up the dribble, and now I can either only shoot or pass to a teammate, it changes how you play the defense. So if you turn that around and understand on the offensive side, you've got more leverage over the defense when you're a triple threat than when you're a double threat. That's just common sense.
So Frank's saying that there's a threat, dribbling, which isn't being defended against at the moment. And if throwers understood dribbling, then they'd be able to apply the triple threat kind of principle to their play, and it would make them very hard to stop, because the defense would have to adjust to stop the dribble, which would then open up the passing and scoring. You know, if someone catches the disc and you're expecting them to pass and run immediately afterwards, then you do play defense a bit differently. I can see how more dribbling would change defense.
This is your opinion?
It's a fact.
Applying the triple threat principle to Ultimate Frisbee changes the game so radically, so completely, that it defies, it breaks down, it destroys everything that you think you know is true about the game. My next film, or in the next 2 or 3 films I'm making, or videos, I'm going to break down exactly what dribbling is, how it's different from give and go, what it takes to be a good dribbler, and all that stuff.
That's exciting. If he explains why dribbling is different to give and go, I think that's hopefully going to answer a lot of people's questions.
That's for later. But dribbling is an idea of moving around the field with the game object. The one thing that sets dribbling apart in Ultimate from all those other sports is that it requires a team mindset. You can't dribble by yourself. That's for disc hoops up there. But in Ultimate, you need to use your teammates as the hardwood floor, so to speak, or however else you want to refer to any other sport. But in basketball,
right, you got to use your teammates as the hardwood floor. So you basically, like, instead of bouncing the ball off the floor, you're bouncing the disc off your teammates.
And this is important to understand because, for example, if you try to run a stack offense and dribble, that doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not a stack offense, especially a vertical stack, doesn't lend itself. It's not conducive to dribbling.
So if everyone's clumped in the middle, then it's like you've only got a little bit of floor in the hall. But if everybody's spread out, then there's a lot more angles and possibilities for bouncing the disc off people, so to speak.
When you understand dribbling, it should change how your offense works as a team.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that's quite difficult, I think, for him to explain, is that in conventional systems, it's hard to use dribbling to its full power. So a lot of people don't kind of believe that it's something special. However, changing the system in order to cater for dribbling, it's kind of like a chicken and egg scenario, You don't need to change the system to suit something that you don't believe has got power to it.
The one thing that's similar to basketball compared to all these other sports is that in ultimate, like basketball, you have to set a pivot foot. So that makes the triple threat more viable, more real than it is in soccer, for example.
I think the triple threat still applies in soccer. I think you can have the ball and you're threatening to dribble, you're threatening to pass, or you're threatening to shoot.
You want to be able to present the triple threat always as your primary mode of operation, your MO. The more you're able to apply that and let that sink into the minds of your defenders and your opponent, the more that the softer they get. They have to. They have no choice because you're just going to keep pummeling them on.
I can see that as a possibility. If all of your players are prepared and happy to, follow their throws every single time they pass, especially on the open side, then the defense will have to kind of like take a step back. They will have to kind of commit to pivots and stuff in different ways.
It's kind of like establishing the running game in football. Once you keep doing that, the softer they get, the more easier it is to leverage them, and the more easier it is to leverage them, the softer they get. And it's a really good way of dismantling the defense. And I
think the theory there is good. A lot of people would say more passes equals more chance of a turnover. I know Frank's got a lot of thoughts about technique and how turnovers can be minimized in other ways. But he's saying that, if you run and pass and run and pass and run and pass, then it tires out the other team. And sure, it does. It's just a case of whether those moves bring a higher risk of turnover or the same risk of turnover even as passes in conventional ultimate. If it's much less, then the theory could be pretty sound.
And then a video on the motion offense, which is the offense, the formation and the philosophy that I've put together that is oriented around this triple threat principle, and then some follow-up videos. So I hope you enjoy this. Namaste and have a good day.
Interesting. Yeah, the triple threat can only really be respected if you understand dribbling. And then dribbling doesn't work very well in vertical stack offense. So then he's going to have to talk about motion offense as well. So you can see how the videos are all kind of tying together. I noticed there wasn't much talk about the actual physical stance it should be in. So I think it'd be interesting to hear Frank talk a little bit about that. I hope he gets useful questions to answer, and I hope he gets into a lot more detail as well when he gets onto the motion offense and dribbling videos, and doesn't get distracted by the haters or anything. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to check out more Frank videos, then he's got an account on YouTube under Frank Huguenard, and I'll see you again soon.